is a clear and present danger sa ating bansa sa pagpasok ng mga droga na dulot ng mga international drug syndicates.
The Philippine National Police seizes cocaine packages worth more than 491 million pesos in the country's eastern seaboard in a span of 1 week. The Philippine Food and Drug Administration permanently revokes dengvaxia's certificate of registration. The Department of Health records more than 9,000 cases of measles across the country.
So talagang accurate siya.
Galing.
And ilang oras din itong nakapost doon para makuha talaga yung measurements ng tama. And okay naman. Ang saya. Excited ako makita siya.
And Miss Universe 2015, Pia Wurtzbach becomes the first Filipino to have a wax figure in Madame Tussauds in Hong Kong. Good evening. The Philippine National Police says an international drug syndicate is using the eastern seaboard of the Philippines as a transshipment point of illegal drugs. Leia Ilagan explains why.
The Philippine National Police or PNP confirms that more than 92 kilograms of cocaine estimated to be worth more than 491 million pesos was found in the 6 areas in the country's eastern seaboard. PNP spokesperson, Police Senior Superintendent Bernard Banak said the first block of cocaine that weighs over 1 kilogram and worth more than 5.4 million pesos was found last February 10 in Barangay Sula, Vinsons, Camarines Norte. The following day, an 839.37 grams cocaine package, approximately worth 4.5 million pesos, was found by a fisherman in Sabang, Vinsons, Camarines Norte. On February 12, more than 48 kilograms of cocaine with a street value of more than 258 million pesos was located in Barangay Cagdianao in Dinagat Island. Last Thursday, February 14, another block of cocaine that weighs about 40 kilograms and roughly 212 million pesos worth floated in San Isidro, Surigao del Norte. 2 days after, on February 16, 989.23 grams of cocaine worth more than 5.2 million pesos was found in Barangay Bagong Bayan, Paracale, Camarines Norte. And yesterday, February 18, 1.1 kilograms of cocaine, estimated to cost 5.3 million pesos, was discovered in Barangay San Jose, Mauban, Quezon. Banak said the police have yet to determine the origin country of these packages of prohibited drugs. But what they are certain of is that an international drug syndicate has used the Philippine Eastern Seaboard as the transshipment point of the contraband. Banak also confirmed that the PNP and the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency or PDEA are planning on burning the blocks of cocaine.
Itong mga pangyayaring ito at yung mga nagdaan pa ay nagpapatunay lamang na there is a clear and present danger sa ating bansa sa pagpasok ng mga droga na dulot ng mga international drug syndicates. Napakalaking hamon po sa atin yan. Kaya po tayo sa Philippine National Police, ang buong pamahalaan ng AFP, ang PDEA ay nagtutulong-tulong na upang harapin ang hamon na ito.
The PNP spokesperson added that the PNP Maritime Group continue their patrols across the country's eastern seaboard. Banak also appeals to the public to help authorities in winning the fight against illegal drugs and terrorism.
Gumising tayo mga Pilipino. Huwag na nating hayaan na pumasok ang mga droga o kumalat pa ang mga droga sa ating mga pamayanan. Ingatan natin ang ating pamilya, ang ating barangay, lahat ng impormasyon na may paabot ninyo sa ating mga otoridad, sa ating kapulisan. Asahan nyo po, ito po ay magiging pribado at confidential.
Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
The Food and Drug Administration has permanently revoked anti-dengue vaccine dengvaxia certificates of product registration or CPR due to the continued failure of manufacturer Sanofi Pasteur Incorporated to submit post-approval commitment documents. FDA Director General Nela Chared-Puno on Tuesday cited French pharmaceutical firm disregard of the agency's rules and regulations as the reason for the cancellation of its CPRs. The CPR for the dengue vaccine was initially suspended for 1 year since December 29 of 2017 after Sanofi's failure to comply with post-marketing requirements. Prior to the lapse of the 1-year suspension on December 17, 2018, Sanofi failed to submit and comply with post-marketing authorization requirements, and the company has since then suspended the sale, distribution, and marketing of the dengue vaccine. The Health Department intensifies its immunization drive to control its effect on the country's tourism and economy. Aiko Miguel tells us why.
The Department of Health has recorded more than 9,000 cases of measles across the country from January 1 to February 18, 2019. The department said this is 3 times higher than what was seen in the same period in 2018, with 2,534 cases. The death toll on measles cases has also risen to 146. The department also said that there is a rising concern over the increasing number of measles cases in Calabarzon, the National Capital Region, and Central Luzon. DOH Secretary Francisco Duque III has made an appeal to health center representatives in Metro Manila to extend their services and conduct free vaccination on children aged 6 months to 5 years on weekends.
Buong Kamaynilaan, ang kanila pong mga kinatawan ay sumang-ayon na habaan ng oras, buksan ang kanilang health centers, ang mga bakunahan tuwing Sabado at nakikiusap ako, pwede pati Linggo.
Last Saturday, health centers in the NCR has conducted the said free vaccination. The DOH said this should be done as part of their intensified efforts to curb the spread of the virus and in turn, prevent further backlash on tourism and the economy. Health Undersecretary Eric Domingo, on the other hand, allayed fears of other countries that Filipino travelers may be possible carriers of the virus. The health official also expressed concern over the issue that authorities from other countries might prevent their citizens from traveling to the Philippines, as this may have a severe effect on the economy.
Sa mga tourists na papunta natin, we want to assure them that everything is being done to contain the outbreaks and control it at the soonest time possible.
Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Authorities continue to implement preventive measures against African swine fever. Mai Bermudez tells us why.
The Philippine government has temporarily banned the entry of pork and pork products from neighboring country Vietnam. The temporary ban is based on the Bureau of Animal Industry or BAI's recommendation after news surfaced in Taiwan that authorities confiscated pork that tested positive for African swine fever. Dr. Joy Lagayan, BAI's focal person for communications, however, clarified that there are no African swine fever cases in the Philippines, but as part of preventing the entry of the virus, authorities set foot baths in place in various airports and seaports in the country. The National Meat Inspection Service, for its part, also conducts regular meat inspections in several markets to check the quality of meat and meat products circulating in markets across the country. The BAI also said the Philippines is among the countries which do not have cases of livestock diseases.
Ang major concern ngayon is to prevent entry of the disease. So kasama dyan na lahat ng international ports and seaports, coordinated siya para lahat ng entry ng mga agriculture products, i-hold muna, especially yung meat kung wala silang clearances.
Meanwhile, in Sampaloc, Manila's Trabajo Market, pork meat prices dropped from 230 to 210 pesos per kilogram.
Okay naman, hindi man nagbagong bentahan namin, mabili pa rin.
But meat vendor Randy Miranda admits less sales.
Medyo matumal pa po.
Teng Castillo, a longtime vendor in Kamuning Market, believes that it is unlikely that the African swine fever virus could penetrate the country and infect local hogs.
Ay, wala, di na makakapasok dito yun. Tumal, minsan may matumal din, minsan mabili. Sakit nga daw eh.
Mai Bermudez, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
President Rodrigo Duterte signs Republic Act No. 11202, or the law requiring service providers to provide nationwide mobile number portability to subscribers. This means consumers can now maintain their mobile number even if they choose to change their network providers or convert their subscription plans from prepaid to postpaid or vice versa. The porting process should not take more than 48 hours and is free of charge. The service provider will be penalized an amount of 10,000 pesos if porting is not immediately done within prescription period, while penalties amounting from 40,000 to 1 million pesos, as well as revocation of the franchise of the service provider if mobile number portability is refused. Meanwhile, the President also signed today Republic Act No. 11215, which will establish the National Integrated Cancer Control Program in the country, and Republic Act No. 11214, that will establish the Philippine Sports Training Facilities for Filipino athletes. Former Transportation Department Undersecretary Tomas Orbos vows to focus on providing livelihood and more if he wins his congressional bid in the midterm elections. Joanano tells us why.
Former Transportation Undersecretary Tomas Orbos has begun to gear up for his bid as the representative of the 1st Congressional District of Pangasinan. In the UNTV program Get It Straight with Daniel Razon on Tuesday, Orbos revealed his platform should he win in the May 2019 national and local elections. As a neophyte candidate, Orbos admits that earning the public's confidence and support will be a big challenge. Because of this, he came up with what he believes as acceptable measures to help his would-be constituents. This include the provision of livelihood programs, improved health services, and the installation of water system in his area. This is around 80% of the whole province of Pangasinan has no source of potable water. He also promises to give attention on roadwork projects in the province. For him, free Wi-Fi is also essential for the district as he believes this can contribute to the progress in the lives of his fellow men, especially the youth in their studies.
Ang ganda ho niyan dahil yung epekto ng isang Wi-Fi, kung ano nababasa ng isang bata sa Amerika, Hong Kong, kung saan man, tinignan ko, kinumpute ko na ho yan eh. Pag ako po yung po, lahat ng barangay po, lalagyan ko ng libreng Wi-Fi. Mura po, kayang-kaya ng isang congressman na gawin yan.
As a former head of the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority or MMDA, Orbos plans to propose the establishment of an integrated development agency which would be the government's arm to assist in various projects in provinces. The said agency would implement the MMDA's approach which would be adopted in the provinces.
Ang nakikita ko po tulad po ng ginagawa natin sa MMDA, may isang development authority na sinasagot niya yung 17 cities ng Metro Manila. Ang tingin ko po dapat may ganong approach din sa probinsya. Kunwari po, problema ng basura, hindi naman kakayanin na isang lugar yan dahil mahal ho yung akma sa batas na dapat na sanitary landfill. So maganda ho pag-usapan per district yung mga ganyan.
Orbos believes that the time for change in his province has come. He also hopes for an opportunity to serve the Pangasinense in his district. Orbos is vying for the position against incumbent Bolinao Mayor Arnold Celeste. Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Miss Universe 2015 Pia Wurtzbach has yet again made history for the Philippines. Nina Armilio tells us why.
Miss Universe 2015 Pia Wurtzbach, proudly Filipina, was overwhelmed upon seeing fellow Filipinos who welcomed her in the pre-launching on Sunday of a wax figure created in her likeness in Kowloon Bay, Hong Kong. The Filipina-German beauty queen said she's even happier that her kababayans continue to root for her even after her reign.
Very warm palagi. Yung level ng excitement, it's always the same. Like, kahit na nakailang beses na akong pumunta dito, as soon as like I know that I'm gonna meet my fellow Filipinos, laging warm yung welcome. And parang kayo magkakaibigan na matagal nang hindi nakikita. Ganun yung feeling.
Jennifer Yu, Madame Tussauds Hong Kong's general manager, said the selection of Pia being the first Filipino to be the next figure in their museum went through tough scrutiny and study.
We do want to select someone from Philippines, like whose character and like the impact are really iconic. Like no matter she's artist or she's political person, we do had some research, and we do had some customer survey, and then finally Pia is on the top of the list.
The professional model turned beauty queen also shared that Madame Tussauds carefully created her wax image.
Talagang very meticulous sila sa pagkakagawa. Yung hair color ko pa lang, lumabas muna kami ng building para sa natural light. Makuha talaga nila yung color ng buhok ko sa harap, sa likod, sa ilalim, sa pati yung eye color, pati yung smile ko, kumuha sila ng dental impression sa dentist ko sa CAD sa Manila. So talagang accurate na accurate siya. And ilang oras din itong nakapost doon para makuha talaga yung measurements ng tama. And okay naman. Ang saya. Excited ako makita siya.
Pia's wax image will be showcased first in Manila in March this year, with its final destination in Peak, Hong Kong in April. Nina Armilio, UNTV, News and Rescue.
A year after Best Actress winner Frances McDormand used the Oscar stage to advocate for more women in the front of and behind the camera, Hollywood is celebrating some progress but remains far from reaching parity with men. McDormand urged powerful celebrities to insist on inclusion, writers, contractual provisions that require producers to consider female candidates for jobs from director to gaffer.
Right. I just found out about this last week. Has always been available to all everybody that does a negotiation on a film, an inclusion rider, which means that you can ask for and or demand at least 50% diversity in not only the casting but also the crew. And so the fact that I just learned that after 35 years of being in the film business, we're not going back. So the whole idea of women trending, no trending. African Americans trending, no trending. It changes now. And I think the inclusion rider will have something to do with that.
We're going to
Power and rules.
In the aftermath of McDormand's speech, one major Hollywood studio, Warner Brothers, adopted policies based on the idea, and A-list stars such as Matt Damon and Michael B. Jordan, who also work as producers, committed to pushing for inclusion riders. A study released this month showed some gains. 40 of the top 100 films in 2018 featured a female as a lead character, the highest number since tracking began 12 years earlier, according to USC's Annenberg Inclusion Initiative. And 28% of this year's Oscar nominees are women, the highest percentage in history. The industry also is taking other steps to promote gender diversity. Up next on Y News. The Laguna Lake Development Authority issues a cease and desist order against 5 more establishments surrounding Manila Bay. And the Department of Energy warns residents not to use 2.7 kilogram LPG cylinders inside their homes. Thank you for keeping me company in the first part of Y News. More reasons behind the stories with Angelo Castro III and William Thio after this quick break. I'm Rheena Villamor-Camara. Good evening.
Welcome back to Y News. We pick up from where Rheena Villamor-Camara left off. I'm Angelo Castro III, and here are the headlines. SSS contribution rate to increase to 12% this year. Malacanang assures farmers that the 10 billion peso fund for rice competitiveness enhancement won't be corrupted.
Our Supreme Court today has ruled to uphold the constitutionality of the extension of the declaration of martial law and the suspension of the privilege of writ of habeas corpus in Mindanao.
The Supreme Court upholds President Duterte's third extension of martial law in Mindanao. The contribution of Social Security System members is set to increase beginning this year, but the agency assures the collection will be for the benefit of its members. Grace Casin explains why.
President Rodrigo Duterte recently signed Republic Act 1161 or the Social Security Act of 2018. This means the contribution of Social Security System or SSS members will increase this year. This law also seeks to strengthen the SSS and to lengthen its lifespan. Leonora Semblante, who is self-employed, is now worried because she needs to double her effort to comply with the increased SSS contribution.
Parang mahirap para sa akin kasi self-employed ako.
If an SSS member receives a 10,000 peso monthly salary, he or she needs to pay 100 pesos more than the current contribution. The new law also indicates an annual increase until 2025. But SSS Assistant Vice President for Media Affairs Luisa Sebastian clarifies that SSS members will also benefit from the contribution increase. This as employees who will lose their job once their companies close will receive assistance from the agency.
Yun yung pag-iipon mo para sa sarili mo, di ba? Pakikinabangan mo naman yun. Pag ikaw babae, manganganak ka, pag nag-pension ka, ikaw rin naman makikinabang.
Bayan Muna Party List Representative Carlos Zarate, however, is not in favor of the SSS contribution increase. In a statement, Zarate said that if the SSS properly collects contribution from employers, there will be no need to increase member contributions. In response, the SSS said,
yun naman pong management of SSS, bukas po yung aming website. Anumang oras, nandiyan yung transparency seal icon. So the financial statements of SSS, lahat po ng may kinalaman sa operasyon ng SSS, lahat naman may access.
Ayos lang po yung basta may mga benepisyo pa rin po yung mga tao.
Mahirap po magganyan pag hindi tataas yung sahod kasi mataas na yung mga bilihin natin ngayon.
Okay lang naman po kasi may benefits naman tsaka magagamit naman po siya.
Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Malacanang assures local farmers that the annual 10 billion peso fund for rice competitiveness enhancement from the rice tariffication will not be corrupted. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Zero tolerance to corruption and wastage of taxpayers' money is the hallmark of President Rodrigo Duterte's administration. This is the assurance presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo gave local farmers who have expressed concerns that the annual 10 billion peso fund for farmers under the rice tariffication law might be corrupted, just like the controversial fertilizer fund. It can be noted that allegedly the 728 million peso fertilizer fund was used for the presidential campaign of former President and now House Speaker Gloria Arroyo in 2004. But the court dismissed the cases filed against Arroyo and former Agriculture Undersecretary Jokjok Bolante. For his part, Agriculture Secretary Emmanuel Piñol is the primary responsible and accountable for the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund. The Agriculture Department, in consultation with farmers' cooperatives, organizations, and local government units, shall also validate and update the master list of eligible beneficiaries of the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund. Meanwhile, the Congressional Oversight Committee on Agricultural and Fisheries Modernization shall also conduct periodic review of the Rice Fund. The palace has also appealed to rice farmer representatives to join the discussions and review of the rice industry roadmap with other concerned government agencies to ensure the effective and efficient implementation of the new measure, including the safeguards to eliminate corruption. With the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund, assistance will be available to local farmers to improve their capacity through farm mechanization and the provision of high-yielding seeds.
Ang mahalaga po kasi ay pagandahin po natin ang ating infrastruktura around the rice production sector. Kailangan din po natin gawin na mas maganda yung services para sa ating mga farmers.
Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
The Supreme Court affirms the third martial law extension in Mindanao. May Bermudez tells us why.
With a 9-4 vote, the Supreme Court affirms the government's move to declare military rule in Mindanao for the third time. Chief Justice Lucas Bersamin and Justices Diosdado Peralta, Mariano del Castillo, Estela Perlas Bernabe, Andres Reyes Jr., Alexander Gesmundo, Jose Reyes Jr., Ramon Paul Hernando, and Rosemary Carandang sustained the constitutionality of President Rodrigo Duterte's proclamation ordering Mindanao to be under martial law. On the other hand, 4 magistrates, Justices Antonio Carpio, Marvic Leonen, Francis Hardeleza, and Alfredo Benjamin Caguiwa, voted to grant the petitions that question its legality.
Our Supreme Court today has ruled to uphold the constitutionality of the extension of the declaration of martial law and the suspension of the privilege of writ of habeas corpus in Mindanao until December 31, 2019.
One petitioner, however, moves to condemn the High Court's decision on martial law extension. Former Bayan Muna Party List Representative Nery Colmenares argues the approval of the martial law extension paves way for full military control across the country, though there are no threats on public safety. Colmenares added that for martial law to be implemented, actual invasion or rebellion must be present. But even with rebellion taking place, he said the president could order the military to counter it even without martial law. The court meanwhile dismissed the petitions of Albay Representative Edsel Lagman, Bayan Muna Party List Representative Carlos Zarate, Attorney Christian Monsod, and Rios Valle. All those petitioners say the declaration of martial rule in Mindanao has no basis as there is no rebellion happening in the region. Mindanao was first placed under martial law in 2017 after a series of armed encounters in Marawi City, Lanao del Sur, between the government forces and the ISIS-inspired Maute Group. Mai Bermudez, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Task Force Bangon Marawi and Housing Czar Eduardo Del Rosario hits report that Marawi City is still a ghost town. The official said Marawi is now a busy city and is gradually improving its condition after the deadly siege of the ISIS-inspired Maute Group. The government still aims to complete the Marawi rehabilitation in December of 2021.
Ang Marawi City ngayon, if you will go there, mahirapan kang makarating hanggang sa center of the city dahil napakagrabe ng traffic. Business activity, economic activity, and movement of people. So many vehicles ang nagpupunta na sa Marawi City at this triggers economic activity.
The Laguna Lake Development Authority issues ex parte cease and desist order against the 5 establishments amid the government's efforts to rehabilitate Manila Bay. Nel Marie Bohok will tell us why.
5 establishments in Metro Manila have been proven to contribute in polluting the Manila Bay. This has prompted the Laguna Lake Development Authority or LLDA to issue a cease and desist order or CDO against the said establishments, which are now facing temporary shutdown. Earlier today, LLDA personnel served a CDO to Hang Feng Kitchenette in Pasay City. The food establishment has been found to have high biochemical oxygen demand of 2,200 milligrams per liter, a far cry from the standard 30 milligrams per liter. This indicates that the establishment has no water treatment facility.
Nakita namin na it's an immediate threat to life, public health, safety, and welfare.
Yan ang hindi ko rin alam. Kailangan ko na Ngayon ko lang nagulat ako na may problema pa.
After the order was issued, the LLDA immediately sealed Hang Feng Kitchenette's faucets. Another establishment, however, Jollibee Macapagal Biopolis branch, was already closed when the LLDA personnel arrived. But Engineer Emeterio Hernandez, LLDA's Environmental Regulations Department Manager, clarified this fast food chain branch had already sent the LLDA a letter stating that it temporarily closed its doors to address its problem on its water treatment plant.
Mataas yung kanilang fecal coliform na isa sa nagko-contribute ng fecal coliform level doon sa Manila Bay.
The LLDA also issued an ex parte cease and desist order to a Max restaurant branch in UN Orosa. The management of the said restaurant branch, however, expressed complaint on the LLDA surprise arrival.
Nakita nila, sir, is meron din po doon kinalaman yung connection po ni Maynila.
Pwede naman po kayo mag-apila sa opisina namin.
Sige, sir, pero we are doing our best naman po to comply talaga doon sa ano.
Formalize nyo na lang po, ma'am.
Sige, sir, yun naman po ang ginagawa namin. So medyo po nagulat kami na may paganito pa kayo.
Despite the commotion, the LLDA personnel were able to serve the CDO. According to the LLDA, the establishments which receive an ex parte CDO could file their appeal in their office. And upon compliance with the existing policies, the order may be lifted and the establishments may be authorized to reopen. This crackdown is part of the government's Manila Bay rehabilitation efforts. Nel Maribho, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The Department of Energy reiterates yet again that the 2.7 kilogram liquefied petroleum gas tanks is for outdoor use only. Joanano will tell us why.
The Oil Industry Bureau of the Department of Energy, or DOE, recorded multiple cases of fire incidents due to gas leak explosion in the past years. And with the fire prevention month just around the corner, the Energy Department once again reiterates to every household not to use 2.7 kilogram liquefied petroleum gas or LPG tanks inside their homes. Through a department order released last year, the DOE emphasized that 2.7 kilograms LPG tanks must be used strictly outdoors to prevent possible explosions caused by gas leak. Manufacturers and retailers of smaller LPG tanks were also instructed to place for outdoor use only labels on their products to serve as warning to consumers. Alex Montesa, who works as a cameraman, is among the 2.7 kilogram LPG gas tank users. He said he uses it inside the apartment he rents. Montesa also shared that due to limited budget, he has no choice but to resort to smaller LPG products which are much cheaper.
Yan ang ginagamit namin. Siyempre, unang-una, tipid. Saka, di gaya ng malalaking tangke, mahal. Kaya yan, pinagtsatsagaan namin na gamitin. Kasi mabilis siyang sindihan, mabilis siyang gamitin.
Under the guidelines set by the Energy Department, 2.7 kilogram LPG tanks are mainly for outdoor use, such as for picnics and camping, to avoid fire incidents and gas leak explosions. The Energy Department advises consumers to buy branded LPG tanks and to avoid patronizing unlabeled and rusty LPG tanks. Consumers are also forewarned to regularly check the regulator and hose of their LPG tanks to prevent gas leak. Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
A blind Mexican sculptor inspires many by continuing with his beautiful ceramic works after completely losing sight. Abby Valdez will tell us why.
A blind Mexican sculptor has inspired many by continuing with his beautiful ceramic works after completely losing sight. Jose Garcia Antonio has been working to create mythical creatures sculpted from clay with visions from a rural childhood and indigenous women.
My sight was completely gone, but I didn't lose hope, nor become sad or bitter. No, as a man, I looked at my life and I said to myself, that's it.
Having dedicated his life to art, Jose lost his sight to glaucoma at age 55. Yet he says the visions of what he sculpts are still fresh in his mind and that he has learned to see with his hands.
I discovered that my senses of feeling and hearing were stronger, and I began to work again. Now I feel that I can see, but through my touch, because I can make figures using my hands as if they were my sight. When I had my vision, I don't believe I sculpted as well as I do now.
His wife Santa Reina Mendoza has always stood by his side.
I admire him because he was never sad. He would tell me, "Don't cry because I'm a man. I'm the head of this household and I'm going to work."
Jose Garcia Antonio is known in art circles around the world for his ceramic sculptures, and in an art gallery in the Oaxaca state capital, his works go on display and sale. Eric Chavez is the gallery's curator and works to promote Jose's works.
Maestro Jose Garcia, it's an icon for Oaxacan folk art.
The level of detail that we find in his work is also really inspiring to us to give him spaces like this for recognition and exhibition. So yeah, it's quite something to look at his work and look at him working.
Abby Valdez, UNTV News and Rescue.
Up next on Wine News. U.S. states sue Trump administration in showdown over border wall funds.
This morning, we have all now resigned from the Labour Party. This has been a very difficult, painful, but necessary decision.
7 lawmakers quit United Kingdom's Labour Party, citing Brexit and anti-Semitism as reasons. Wine News will be right back after this quick break.